I am finally starting woods work here, and it's almost Thanksgiving. It just seems like every day I try and get out and get something done, something comes up. Today my plan is to get the hill, the Blake Road woods, and maybe the home woods done. But it's gonna be close. I don't know if I'm gonna make it or not. It's just one of those that I've gotta have a goal, and I don't have to play dance taxi today. But I did pack myself a healthy lunch here, so I'll eat that on the way there and then get to work. Here at the hill, and when I come up to the very top, I'm like a foot off the ground there, where it hits the knoll. You can't really see it there, but it comes up and climbs hard up to the end of the main line. My goal here is to make it so I don't have the laterals going down as far. I want to know how far down I can come to try and save some of that hill that it's climbing. I think I've got plenty of pitch here. I just want to make sure that I have enough. So I brought the laser. I'm going to get set up and shoot it to see how far, and then I'll measure it, and then I can figure out if I can come down on that tree, which almost positive I can. So we'll see. All right, I just measured it. It's 265 feet from this point, which is my low point, to the high point up there. So I'm gonna see if I can catch the laser from here, and then I can figure out how much of a rise I need. I'm probably gonna go more than 2% here, just because it's probably not a bad idea. Oh, I got it. All right, so I got that. So now I just got to do the math. If I do times 5, because that would be 2%, would be 65 inches that I would need. All right, so I could need to be at 6'2" to be at 2%. We'll see where we end up. So that's kind of what I was thinking, is that really it can be right there to be on, that there was that much of a rise here to hit that. But when you look at it, it's kind of a mess to look through looking down there, and I come up hard. I don't think that I want to be right at that. I think I might split this and be like here. Then it'll get all these laterals a hell of a lot closer. And then what I can do is I can just use the laser to shoot this. But this makes a hell of a lot more sense looking down to be there rather than way up. And then these that are down there, because that's all downhill to those, it won't be as much of a lift. So it'll be better for everything, more vacuum. All right, now it's time to get the woods work done. So I got my H2O tapping kit here, my pouches. I guess I get to go home because I forgot my drop holder. Perfect, and I'm not fighting with it without it. Damn it. So only one trip back to the house because I forgot stuff, but see if we can get this going and get these woods worked and ready to go for this year. I do have one change going this year that is actually a pretty big one, and kind of held off on talking about it because Wasn't sure if I was gonna do it or not, and then finally decided to. I'm switching to check valve adapters. The reason I'm switching is not so much for the tap itself. It's more so that when the stubby goes onto the tee in the off season, it's gonna hold better on the tee, but I can also swing that drop line away from the tree rather than having it hang down to the ground. And sometimes they come undone and they hang. Now it'll stay on better and I can loop it away from the tree. That's the big reason. So with that, everything that I go by today is getting a stubby put on it. And then the new ones that I change are getting a stubby put on too. So it's gonna be a lot more work than it normally is checking the woods, but it's for a greater good. This woods is about 100 taps, so I'm gonna bring 1 bag of stubbies to start, and then we'll see where we end up. Last year's color was green, and this year's color is gray, but I'm gonna use these up first because I don't want to waste. Got 1 pocket full of end hooks and splices just in case I found some issues. A tubing tool and a coil of pipe. So feeling along, feeling for squirrel chews, any other defects that could be in the pipe. This place is thick in here on the low side with just scrub brush and trash, and there's plenty of vines too. So there, so first stubby going on, and then now what I'm gonna do is take it and loop it so that it pulls that drop away from the tree. Should work okay. This one is a dead end here, so I know I'm going to change that, but I'm just going to leave that one on and cut in a new one here. This one out. So I just cut off the loop and I left that T right in there. Now I gotta put stuff. Can't be the only one that hates areas that are full of vines, because they're nothing but a pain. This year I'm working on cutting out the last of the 30p drops that I had used for a handful of years. I'd used them initially because I was cheap and it was just one roll of pipe I had to buy. Then I found I was getting a ton of micro leaks because it would actually leak on the tee because there wasn't enough tension pulling on those fittings with the drop. So this year I'm cutting out all the old ones that were 30p, and they're all going to be flex now. So after having my pouches filled today, I already figured out that I don't like the one that I'm reaching into all the time on this side. So because it's got the handy dandy clips on it, I can just switch it without having to completely empty it and dump it out. Just switch that to that side, and now my stubbies that I'm using a lot more of are going to be on this side. The stubbies are over here, so now I can just reach down and then those are over there. It's kind of handy just to be able to switch pouches on this H2O liter tapping kit. It works pretty good. This shows here what I'm trying to do with these loops. I want them away from the tree. I don't want them hanging down on the tree. So by putting the stubby on, normally I'll be further away, but this is when I didn't know as much as I do now. But it gets the loop away from the tree. This one here really shows it. The loop is in the middle here and the loop is pushing here. So it stays off the tree, which will hopefully cut down on my squirrel chews on the drops, which will save me money. This drop is right full of crud, and pink is due to be replaced next year. So in an effort to do better, I'm going to swap it out a year early just to keep that crud out of the soil. That's really the only branch I've seen on anything, so that's not a bad thing. All right, the upper is all done now. Now I just gotta pick up the drops. What I do is I just drop them in bundles as I go and then stop and pick them up. That way I don't have to hang on to as much of a handful when I'm really trying to work. It just makes things a little bit easier. But handful of drops up here. Of course, putting the stubbies on everything took a little bit more time than usual. And then now that's the rest of the 30p drops up here. That tree's getting hammered by the woodpeckers. It's an ash, and the emerald ash borer came in here this year and it is just ravaging all the ash trees around here bad. And there's a ton. So it's going to be real interesting what these woods look like in a few years when these things start coming down. Pipe on the ground here. What the hell's going on here? It's off of the splice and on the ground everywhere up here. Figure this out, start at the end. I already dropped these once. Anyone ever notice how when you start setting up your tubing systems that you do it on the cheap or you're bootstrapping it, trying to just make it go with what you got and not go broke doing this? And I did the same thing, and now I'm here at one of those spots. So because I was cheap, on the other side I've got 1, 2, and a third that's probably coming on this line or next year, and I crossed the main, and then I got 1, 2 here. Well, I don't like it, and every year I sit here and say something in my head as I'm tapping, so I'm going to change it now. I'm just going to change that, make that an end hook, and then just put another saddle in there, and then it's 2 lines rather than 1 big one, and not being cheap. All right, there's that side. Now I just need to remember to bring a saddle next time I'm here and get that hooked in, and it's better. This is another one where I didn't want to run 2 saddles, so I put 1 in, but I went across the main, and again, I don't like it. So now I've got to change that drop anyways. So what I'm going to do is make that a dead end, come around, it'll just be 1 there and then 1 here. The hill is done. I'm gonna stop, grab something to drink real quick because I didn't plan ahead and bring enough water or Gatorade. So I'm gonna stop and grab something, and I'm gonna try and get the Blickard Woods done. That's another 120 taps. That should be right about right to where I run out of daylight is my guess, because it's 2:30 now and it's dark by 4. So that one took me about a little over an hour to do. So this one should take less time because there should be less drops to change, but we'll find out. I'm here at the Blickard Woods now, and it's nice because it's dry in here, because it's definitely kind of swampy through this piece of woods, so it's easier going than getting stuck in the mud, that's for sure. Not quite sure what knocked this one down. That's all old there from last year. That pipe's definitely got some stretch to it now where that branch was on it. I think some of this might come back out, so I'm gonna wait before taking it up, and then come tapping, I'll decide if I've got to take some slack out of it. That one's looking scuzzy, so I'll change that one. The situations that I'm looking to get rid of, when I plug off that drop line, it's right up against the tree in 2 spots. By putting that stubby on, it's going to change that. Now it doesn't touch it. I mean, it's close, but it's not touching it nearly as much as it was before. So it pulls that drop away from the tree, which should cut down on my squirrel shoes on the drop lines. And I think these are going to stay better on that pin rather than plugging the pipe off. I haven't heard about as many of these popping off as the pipe popping off the pin, so it should benefit all the way around. Well, this is a mess up here. This spot, I'm always fighting with squirrel chews. There's a lot of habitat here, and then there's a stone wall for them to live in. So it's always one, but a piece of top or branch come down, landed on it and popped it, and see how much of a real mess it turns into here before it's over. These drops I'm going to leave straight out because where it's up against the tree, kind of no matter what I do, it'll work better to keep the majority of the drop off the tree. This is something I won't miss, trying to get some of these drops to come off of the pin. They get stuck on there and you have to use cutters or something to pop it just because they're sealed on there. But the stubbies, that won't be a problem anymore. Alright, I got the hill done and Blake Road done today. These woods, granted it's only like 220 taps, but kind of set the pace for what I've got to get done this year, which is a little bit slower, having to change all the stubbies, or add all the stubbies I should say. My drop line carrier, I don't know, it works okay. You can see like they slip down. I tried finding a way to get it to cinch up a little bit better and fought with it up there, and I don't know. It's better than nothing for carrying it, but it's still kind of a pain. So I don't know what the right answer is on carrying drops. I haven't found anything that I really love yet, but oh well. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one.